Welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. Stay informed with quick, easy-to-listen summaries of our latest articles, perfect for when you're on the go. No reading required. Subscribe for free at mercola.com for the latest health insights.
Hello, and welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. I'm Ethan Foster, and today we're examining the troubling reality that harmful chemicals are flooding the U.S. food supply. With me is my co-host, Elara Sky. We'll be drawing on insights from a recent article by Dr. Joseph Mercola that looks into how these chemicals slip past regulatory safeguards, disrupt our gut health, and potentially raise the risk of serious diseases.
Thank you, Ethan. I'm glad to be here to shed some light on this pressing issue. Many consumers have no idea just how many additives are put into our foods. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration still allows companies to introduce new substances without independent safety testing, often relying on industry-backed research. As a result, thousands of chemicals occupy store shelves with little genuine oversight.
That's concerning. One of the major points Dr. Mercola discusses is the loophole known as Generally Recognized as Safe, or GRAS. Under GRAS, companies can self-certify chemicals as safe without FDA approval. It's alarming that this has been going on for decades, allowing substances with little or no long-term research to enter the market.
These additives range from flavor enhancers and emulsifiers to preservatives and even heavy metals, like arsenic and lead, which end up in commonly eaten foods. Weak enforcement standards allow them to remain largely unchecked. According to the article, contaminants such as arsenic and lead carry no safe level of exposure. Even small amounts can contribute to cognitive decline and raise the risk of chronic conditions over time.
The conversation around gut health has really accelerated in recent years. Dr. Mercola's article points out that many of these additives can disrupt the microbiome, leading to inflammation, metabolic disorders, and immune dysfunction. An example is the use of synthetic emulsifiers, like polysorbate 80, that affect the delicate balance of gut bacteria.
When our gut microbes are off balance, it doesn't just affect digestion. It can trigger systemic issues like insulin resistance and chronic inflammation. The fact that so many processed foods contain these emulsifiers is troubling. Millions of people consume them daily, often without realizing the impact they might have on health.
Another key point is how different American regulations are compared to those in other countries. Titanium dioxide, for instance, has been banned in the European Union due to safety concerns, yet it's found in over 1,900 products in the United States. It's used to give foods a brighter, more appealing appearance, but research suggests it can disrupt immune function and metabolic health.
Titanium dioxide is just one example. Another is potassium bromate, used in baked goods. More than 25 years ago, the International Agency for Research on Cancer identified it as a possible carcinogen, yet it remains legal in the U.S. These examples show how European regulators require substances to undergo stringent checks, while the FDA's processes allow decades to pass without re-evaluation of these chemicals.
The numbers are staggering. According to the article, ultra-processed foods now make up about 73% of the American food supply. They're deliberately designed to be addictive, spurring people to eat beyond their satiety signals. This can easily lead to obesity, diabetes, and other metabolic disorders.
Yes, and that ties directly back to the wide array of additives that prolong shelf life and enhance flavor. Synthetic preservatives like BHT and BHA have been around for decades, yet some studies flag potential cancer risks. When they were originally approved, data was limited. And because the FDA rarely mandates a new assessment, these chemicals remain in circulation.
Let's take a moment to address a few questions people might naturally have. First, why does the FDA allow so many chemicals in the U.S. food supply? According to Dr. Mercola's piece, it's largely due to outdated regulations. The GRAS rule permits manufacturers to make decisions about safety without requiring exhaustive independent research.
That's correct. And even if concerns arise, the FDA faces significant hurdles to force a reevaluation. They need overwhelming evidence of harm. In many instances, that evidence isn't gathered because the chemicals never undergo the rigorous testing that would expose long-term risks. It's a system that inherently favors corporate profit over consumer safety.
Another question that comes up: what are some of the most harmful chemicals still allowed in the U.S.? We've mentioned titanium dioxide and potassium bromate, both banned elsewhere. There are also synthetic antioxidants used to keep packaged foods from spoiling as quickly, as well as artificial dyes linked to behavioral problems. Yet they remain widespread in this country.
Many of these dyes, like Red 40 and Yellow 5, carry warnings in Europe regarding their impact on children's behavior. The US has not imposed similar regulations, and these additives are found in everything from candy and soda to cereals marketed to kids.
So how do these chemicals affect gut health and metabolism? According to the article, emulsifiers like polysorbate 80 and carboxymethylcellulose disturb gut flora. That disturbance might lead to chronic inflammation and insulin resistance. People might notice changes in digestion, energy levels, and weight regulation after consistent exposure to such additives.
Chronic inflammation is often referred to as a silent contributor to many conditions, including obesity and autoimmune disorders. These additives undermine the body's natural equilibrium, affecting hormonal balance and overall cellular function. What seems innocuous on an ingredient list can have long-term ramifications when consumed regularly.
Let's also talk about heavy metals. Arsenic and lead can end up in foods through contamination in agricultural practices or from packaging materials. Dr. Mercola's article notes, there's really no safe exposure level for these metals. Yet U.S. enforcement standards continue to be weak, allowing measurable amounts to remain in popular products.
This is not just a minor concern. Prolonged low-level exposure can accumulate in the body over time. That accumulation impacts cognitive function and increases disease risk, especially in vulnerable populations like children. It's another reason why awareness and proactive choices around food sources are crucial.
Now, let's shift toward practical steps. How can people reduce their exposure to harmful chemicals in food? First, Dr. Mercola recommends avoiding ultra-processed foods. If an item has a long list of unrecognizable ingredients, that's a red flag. Many of those additives might be harmful to gut bacteria, metabolic function, or both.
Purchasing organic products whenever feasible is another strategy. Organic standards prohibit many of the synthetic preservatives and dyes found in conventional foods. That said, organic certification can still allow certain additives, so it's wise to read labels, but it's a good place to start.
I like Dr. Mercola's suggestion to learn how to read nutrition labels. Words like artificial flavors, modified food starch, or natural flavors can mask a range of chemicals. Even something like spices on a label might not always reflect simple herbs. It can include hidden allergens or flavor enhancers.
It's also recommended to store food in glass or stainless steel containers instead of plastic. Plastics often contain chemicals like BPA or phthalates, which leach into food and can disrupt hormones. Heating in plastic accelerates the process, so avoiding microwaving food in plastic is an easy fix.
Finally, there's cooking at home. Restaurant meals and packaged convenience foods typically have higher amounts of preservatives, emulsifiers, and dyes to maintain a certain taste or appearance. Controlling your ingredients at home allows you to eliminate unnecessary chemicals and choose healthier fats like grass-fed butter or ghee over vegetable oils high in linoleic acid.
That's a big takeaway from Dr. Mercola's article, Regaining Control. We can't rely on regulators alone to guard our well-being. By focusing on whole foods, organic whenever possible, and mindful shopping, we can drastically reduce exposure to harmful substances.
It's also worth noting that this approach benefits other aspects of wellness. People often report improved energy levels, better digestion, and more stable weight management when they cut back on ultra-processed items. The connection between diet quality and overall health truly is profound.
True. As Dr. Mercola emphasizes, many of these chemicals disrupt our internal balance, our cellular wisdom, if you will. Once you remove them, your body can function more efficiently. It's a practical step toward lowering your risk of chronic diseases and improving long-term vitality.
Before we wrap up, I want to reiterate how extensive this problem is. According to the piece, thousands of additives were approved long ago under outdated rules and haven't been thoroughly reviewed since. Consumers need to stay informed and ask the right questions.
Agreed. Staying alert to these issues is vital. Read labels, question unfamiliar ingredients, and consider where your food comes from. Knowledge is the key to navigating the food supply more safely.
That's our time for today's episode of Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. We hope this discussion has made you more aware of the chemicals hidden in everyday foods and how you can better protect yourself. I'm Ethan Foster.
And I'm Alara Sky. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your commitment to learning more about your health. Until next time, take care and stay informed.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe now and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.